Hey there, welcome to the Hot Slice, the weekly podcast brought to you by Pizza Today magazine. I'm your host, Jeremy White, editor in chief of Pizza Today, joined this morning on this very cold, blustery morning by the one and only Denise Greer, the executive editor of Pizza Today. Good morning, Denise.
Good morning, Jeremy. We are in a deep freeze, and by the time this airs, we're going to have a warm front through a lot of the country. So we are getting better. Let's just hope. But I hope that everyone out there is doing well with their businesses. I hope that you haven't had any, pipe issues or heating issues. I hope that you've been able to maintain your standard ops during this
Yeah, and it's
crazy
funny
time.
because here this week where we live, Denise, as we're recording this, high temperatures have been 8 and 9 degrees. Nighttime temperatures have been well below zero. And it's funny, or ironical or interesting or whatever you want to call it, went through my mind just yesterday were the pizza delivery drivers who are getting the call at 8 p.m. When it's 4 degrees outside and are out delivering, going up to the door in this blustery weather. That's a tough gig right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Do something special for your delivery. If you have in-store delivery folks, do something special for them because they're paying the price right now because they're
Mhm,
in and out of vehicles. They're driving on some treacherous roads in a lot of
mhm.
cases. I saw where Seattle had a deep freeze where it was just roads were popsicle, and I'm sure they were out delivering in that.
Yeah,
So yeah, just think about your delivery folks out there during
that's
this
right. I mean, we've
time.
all seen the statistics. We all know that delivering pizzas is at times considered a dangerous job, and there are road hazards. There are, sometimes drivers find themselves late at night in unsafe neighborhoods at times, and there are hazards to the job, no doubt. And this is certainly a time of year between the cold temperatures, slick, hazardous road conditions. This is definitely a tough time of year. So yeah, it is to echo you, Denise. Take care of your delivery drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, before we get into our guests, let's hit a couple of things. So we are in that like push for Expo. It's our
Hmm.
40th anniversary. We are, just getting things, making sure everything's dialed in. So make sure if you haven't registered yet for Pizza Expo that you do. And actually, our guest is going to be at Pizza Expo. So we have Audrey Kelly from Audrey Jane's Pizza Garage.
Hmm.
They're in Boulder, Colorado. We love Audrey. She does demos for us. We have her write for the magazine because she is an
Hmm.
excellent writer. And we're excited to have her back on to get an update.
Indeed, we are. I'm excited about her appearance. And she'll allude to this in our interview, but she had twins a couple of years ago, and obviously, when you're a young mother, nurturing and raising twins, that's a massive time commitment. And as a result, she hasn't really been able to help out on the Pizza Expo front a whole lot in the last couple of years. We're glad to get her back into the fold. She's going to be doing a demonstration. She's going to be sitting on a panel that you're leading, and doing some other things on the show floor. So it's exciting. She's a very enthusiastic speaker. She's very knowledgeable. She likes to play around with ingredients and tinker with her menu and try this and try that until she gets things just right. And so she's definitely fun to have as part of the educational lineup.
Yeah, and becoming a parent while you're a business owner is it's tough.
Mhm.
But one thing it does is it's helped her dial in how to let other people help run the business and
Mhm.
to really dial in on those ops to make everything flow without her presence there. And that's something that we could all learn to make sure that the operations are running without us because we cannot be there every minute of the day with any business. So yeah,
That's
it's
right.
she's working hard, and that I'm going to tell you, she sent me some pasta sauce. She sent me a couple of jars of pasta sauce. No, Jeremy, I did not share them with you. I ate all of them.
That's what I was gonna say. Where's the love, Denise? I didn't see any pasta sauce.
And these jars are in a retail market and they are so good. I mean, and
Excellent.
and they're worthy of a premium price, and that's what they're marketed as. So she'll talk a little bit about going into the retail market with her her pasta sauces, and there, I'm telling you what, I'm still salivating from the goodness of those sauces. So, all
That's
right, well,
awesome. Well,
let's
let's get Audrey on and hear what she has to say.
Performance Food Service is proud to deliver high-quality products, innovative technology, and custom operational solutions to restaurants of all sizes across the country. The flagship division of Performance Food Group, with deep roots in the restaurant industry, Performance Food Service has been the exclusive distributor of the Roma family of brands for more than 65 years. This signature relationship has allowed Performance Food Service to become a leader in the pizza and Italian segment of food service nationwide.
I'm Genevieve Ruby, a fifth-generation dairy farmer here in Humboldt County, California. Did you know that 99% of California's dairy farms are family-owned? And we're proud to sustainably produce the milk that goes into quality cheeses you use to create your delicious pizzas. Thanks for helping make California not only America's #1 dairy state, but the leading producer of mozzarella too. We hope you enjoy this podcast.
Audrey, I just want to start with asking you, how long have you had Audrey Jane's Pizza Garage now? It seems like forever, but you're still really young, so it's really not been that long. When did you open?
So we opened in 2015, so we celebrated our 8-year anniversary this past October.
been that long.
I know,
Yes.
I can't believe it. I remember the 2-year mark and then the 5-year mark, and now the last couple of years have just kind of flown by. I feel like ever since COVID, everything's sped up.
Everything has
Did
sped up.
your 5-year anniversary happen during COVID then, or no?
Yeah, I don't even know. Yeah, it was in 2020. So that was
Absolutely.
honestly, that was our busiest year ever. So
Really?
I guess a good and bad 5-year anniversary.
Mhm.
I love that, because if you think about that 5-year mark is so pivotal in restaurants, of being able to get there. And when you got to the 5-year mark, what kind of path did you set for the next several years of Audrey Jane's? What are you hoping to do with the restaurant as you go into year 9, year 10?
Yeah, honestly, it's been a very I guess pivotal last few years. I think in the beginning I had all of these ideas and all these goals that I wanted to hit, and obviously just succeeding in having my restaurant, because not everyone does. It's a hard business. There's a lot of pizzerias, there's a lot of restaurants that are competition. I think I always wanted a second restaurant, or that was kind of the idea. And as I got deeper and deeper into it, I think my goals kind of shifted, and the idea of what we had and what we wanted shifted as well. I think I'm a very hands-on operator, or I guess I should say I used to be before I had kids. I was there 24/7. I wasn't the best at kind of teaching other people how to run things, and that has changed in the last couple of years. But I think it's hard to open a second place when that's the role you place yourself in your restaurant.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, as everyone knows, it's hard to hire really good help.
Mhm.
Super fortunate. We've got an amazing team right now. And I think because of that, and because I've kind of extracted myself a little bit, I don't know that. I guess what I'm trying to say is, in the beginning, I wanted another restaurant, and then the years kind of flew by. We never opened one. We couldn't
Yeah.
find another location that we liked. My brother Peter is my business partner, and he is very adamant that the next location will buy the building.
Mhm.
Just because anyone who deals with landlords, there's always issues. It's always a huge benefit if you own your space. And we just haven't found one that we like. We're always looking. We have a lot of customers come in and be like, "Oh, are you going to open in, Lafayette or Louisville?" It's all these surrounding towns by us. And I think location is really important. It took us a while, to catch on where we are, because we're in the back of a shopping complex. Unless we're there, you wouldn't find us, I think. And that's not to say I would trade our location for anything. I love our spot, but I do think if we were to open a bigger spot, because ours is pretty small and we're just a slice house, it'd have to be the right location.
I have to say, you have amazing lighting for your photography that you post on Instagram. I'm I know those garage doors open, or they let in the natural light, and everything you photograph, and you've got some skill, of course, but everything you photograph and put on Instagram, I've licked my phone screen 1,000 times looking at your Instagram page.
Well, that's very good to hear. Yeah, we have a lot of natural light that comes in, and a lot
Yeah.
of like the whole front is basically windows and then our garage doors. So
Mhm.
it's a really nice space.
Yeah.
So
Go
this
ahead.
is not usual for us on the podcast, but let's get some photography tips to your peers who are listening, who own pizzerias, and they say, wow, I look at her Instagram, everything looks so beautiful. What are just a handful of tips that you can throw out there for any other pizzeria operator and owner who is watching this, who would like to have some Instagrammable pizza photos?
Oh, well, thank you for that, because I actually think lately, like if I were in a pizzaiola, I would be a photographer.
Yeah, nice.
That being said, I always just use my iPhone, so it's nothing special. I think the biggest thing is to kind of just try different angles, like every pizza, just like people, have their better angles.
Mhm.
And I do look at my photos and I notice I take like one angle a lot more, and I think that looks good for our pizza. I think a lot of natural light. Gosh, I don't know. I'm not a photographer. I don't have the best tips. I just like, as when you eat pizza, like texture is always good.
Yeah.
Like try
Yeah.
and get those bubbles in there, try and get the cheese and the different toppings. I don't
Yeah.
know if that was helpful at all, but
I love it.
It works.
I love it. If you do not know, Audrey also happens to be a really good writer, and we have
She does.
tapped her to contribute some kitchen stories for
Mhm.
us
Mhm.
with Pizza Today. And you know what I love is you bring so much creativity, but it's not just you. You talk to your fellow pizza makers and fellow restaurant owners and get them into your articles too, which I absolutely love because you bring another dimension to your articles too.
yeah, thank you. I mean, thank you for always like allowing me to contribute. Writing is also one of my other passions, and um, I pursued journalism before getting into pizza, and
Mhm.
that was kind of always, one of the rules of journalism is getting outside perspectives. And I think even in the food world, like, not everyone does things the same. So it's nice to see how, have a balanced perspective, because how I do something or create something isn't the same way that somebody else does. And, what another pizza maker does might resonate more with a fellow reader, I think.
Absolutely. So what do you have concocting? What are you working on right now? What do you like what are some of the things that's in your R&D right now that you're playing with?
Well, so we started making sauce a couple years ago, bottling pasta sauce, and
I
that's been.
know mine's already gone. What you sent me
Oh
is
man,
eaten
I need to send
already. It was
more.
so good. It was so good.
No, thank you. It's been a lot of trial and error, honestly. Like it's we're in about 36 local grocery stores, which is great, but we've had a harder time kind of breaking into the bigger chains, and I think there's a good reason for that. The first is that you really need somebody advocating for you.
Mhm.
Um, and also our sauce is like really expensive to make. So I think we've kind
Yeah.
of come to the point that we don't want to compromise our quality of it, to charge like a lower price in grocery stores. So we've decided to do like direct sales. We
Okay.
are really launching our website this week for that.
Oh,
Now, will you
nice.
Excited
stay
about.
with the 30 that you're in currently, or will you go only to direct sales?
No, we'll stay in those because like we
Mhm.
deliver ourselves, but it's been a big learning lesson. Like my brother and I both are very versed in kind of our restaurant, and my
Yeah.
family has a bagel shop, and we both are part of that as well. So we understand like the hands-on part of that, but retail it's a whole nother. I don't know if either of you have ever dabbled in it, but it's like
Yeah, what kind of headache is it for
it's a
like an
huge headache.
operator? Like,
Like
because restaurants versus retail, that I mean, it's a completely different operational mentality, I would imagine.
it
Can you tell
really
us a little bit
is.
about it?
Yeah, and honestly, I didn't quite expect how different it would be, and I think it's a lot more kind of. For me, I like to be in the kitchen, like creating and like having my hands on things. And the sauce,
Mhm.
like, of course, like we created the initial recipe and like we check in with our co-pack and do that kind of stuff. But it's a lot of just like paperwork and kind of,
Yeah.
selling yourself. And like, I'm really bad at it, honestly. I really dislike like going, I don't even like emailing people really. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, it's not my strong suit. And my brother's just so busy. Like he has a hard time keeping up with it too. It's just, I think we had this idea. We thought it'd be, like the product would kind of sell itself, or not sell itself, but it wouldn't be quite as hard. And also it just cost a lot. Like every grocery store
Mhm.
costs like thousands and thousands of dollars just to have your product in there. And then
Mhm.
you have like sales. So you don't really make that much unless you I think, get really big, or your product doesn't cost very much to make.
Okay.
So I'd say I'm very impressed with everyone who has succeeded in that world. And maybe we'll push harder in the future, but I think for now, like, I don't know, like I'm not ready to let it go because we put so much effort into it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what keeps you
And
going with it? What keeps you working on it?
I mean, I love it. Like, I really do
Yeah,
believe in the product. Like, I think it's
yeah,
a sauce out there. And I just, it's all, it's like since we opened our doors at our restaurant, it's been something I wanted to do. So it was
hmm
like, like one of those things, like we opened and I was like, okay, then we're going to sell sauce. We're going to do this. And I just, I don't think I realized like what that meant. It's like in life, right? Like you don't really know until you're doing it.
Yeah, I totally get
That makes
that.
sense. You're not the first person who has said, yeah, I have a friend in another industry who happened to have a product in a major retailer, one
Uh-huh.
with a little red sign that looks like you throw a dart at it. And he said, I haven't made any money at all, hardly, even though his product is in that store. So I'm like, wow, that was mind opening to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it really is. And I've talked to a lot of people who have had success. And I mean, Boulder is actually like kind of ground zero for a lot of products that take off.
Oh,
hmm
really? Okay, I did not know that.
It's a funny, it's an odd thing. But
Random.
I mean, I think it's also because there's like a lot of money in here
Yeah.
and people just
Yeah.
like have money to put into random stuff like that. No, I don't know. But yeah, anyway, we still love the sauce.
Sure.
It's a great product, but I think we're just not gonna like try and get into Whole Foods. And even just like getting the certifications, like all of our stuff is non-GMO, but it's just getting that non-GMO certification costs money and it takes
Mhm.
time. So it's
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the steps people don't think of. They somehow think I'll talk to a purchasing manager at a retail outlet and woo them over and my product will be on the shelves. And they don't realize how many steps and all the red tape that exists.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And just the standards. I mean, you have so many standards you have to adhere to be able to,
yeah.
to be in a
Mhm.
retail space, especially with a food product.
Totally.
So
And I honestly, I think if that was like my one focus, then I could, I think it'd be different. But there's
yeah.
just too much going on.
How
Yeah.
about how about in the restaurant? What are you doing in the pizzeria right now?
Yeah, so I'm not in there quite as much,
Yeah.
which is good and bad. It took a while since having my twins to
Wins.
get it to the point where it is, but we have some really good people in there. We have like two amazing managers and a guy who's like a phenomenal prep cook, which kind of changed the whole structure.
hmm
We looked for years for somebody to fill that role, and like it's honestly only been the last year that we found somebody. Um, and yeah, I'm really excited. I feel like I finally have a team in place where we can kind of like come up with specials and they like
hmm
actually can, it actually happens. And so we've been doing like weekly specials, which are great. Like I've always wanted to do that. We shifted our dough actually out of our restaurant into our bagel shop just for
hmm
production wise. So we have like a commissary for all of our bagel dough, and we moved that over there, which I was really nervous about, honestly, because we do 100% sourdough, and it's very finicky. So like
Mhm.
if you don't feed the starter right, like your dough's not going to be right.
Yeah.
But they've been doing a great job, and the dough's been really consistent. So we've got a little bit more space in there. What else? Yeah, I feel like I was at a little bit of a standstill the last couple of years, and I'm just now like able to see the bigger picture
Yeah. Well, and
again.
doing a commissary will actually help when you are ready to pull the trigger on a
Right.
second location, correct? You'll be able to kind of make sure that you have the quality standard from the jump.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we only do our dough over there. We have 7 bagel shops, so they all pull from there as well. So that's kind of like our bagel store commissary.
So tell us
Uh,
about these bagel stores.
so my parents, yeah, we started them over 30 years ago.
Okay.
Um, it's my mom and dad, and
hmm
we've always been family owned. My dad's from New York, and that's kind of like always been what he wanted to do.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
So
he
there's
learned.
the steamed bagels. Are they the
They're
New York
boiled.
steam? Oh, boiled
Boiled.
bagel. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a great shop. New
I
York bagel.
love a good bagel.
I
Have they
know.
ever
I
done
do too.
like a pizza bagel? Has that ever been something that's been a thing there?
We have done it in the past, and actually, my dad is always the one who kind of loved pizza in our family, and we did pizza
Mhm.
out of the shops at one point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting because everyone's like so hot on bagels in the pizza world now, and
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
like
it
they
is.
all their pizzerias, and now they're getting into bagels, and we were kind
That's
of
right.
It is.
it's amazing. Like, I love bagels. We eat so many bagels in our household.
It's interesting because we saw the bakery to pizza movement. Now we're having the pizza to bagel movement.
Totally.
So
Yeah,
it's kind of an
100%.
interesting trend. I love it.
Yeah, no,
Um,
awesome.
yeah. So, you were talking about how, you were able to step away from the business a little bit. And what I love is when I look at your Instagram and things, you'll have your little slices
Yeah, they're
around.
cute.
And I love that you, and even when you were pregnant, you were still calling them little slices. Like
Always my little slices. Yeah.
I love that nickname for your twins. It's
Thank
the
you.
best.
They're truly flower babies. They get off with like bagels and pizza, which is
Can they
amazing.
make pizza yet?
They dabble in it, they like start pressing it out and then they kind of just like destroy it, which with most things. They love baking though. Like every morning we make like pancakes or, muffins or something, and they love to like
Yeah.
mix it. And I don't know. I mean, I think they're so smart, but I'm sure all kids are that
Yeah.
smart. They like know all the ingredients and they're
What's their favorite ingredient?
their favorite ingredient. I probably flour. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
they'll say like the eggs, and then this morning we made French toast, so they're like dumping the cinnamon in. They say cinnamon. I don't know. And the little voices that they.
I
Love it.
love the little
Love
munchkin
it.
toddler
I'm
voices.
totally,
They're the best.
yeah, I'm totally one of those moms who thinks like they do everything the best.
That's
Did
awesome.
having obviously having a baby disrupts your lifestyle, but it really changes the way you spend your time. Having twins is twice as difficult, presumably. How did it make you a better business owner and a better pizzeria owner at the end of the day because it forced you to get really economical with your time, or does it just feel like it's still a 24/7 tornado and you just can't figure it out yet?
It's a little bit of both. Like I think it really forced me to, kind of put the time into training people to take on roles.
Hmm.
Um, it was a big adjustment. I won't lie. I'm kind of the type of person who like does things and then faces the consequences afterwards, as opposed to like planning things out and like thinking about what it's actually going to mean.
Hmm. Hmm.
And in my mind, well, we thought we were only having one kid, so that changed a lot of things.
Yeah.
um, and I was like, oh, I'll have the baby. I'll be back at work in a couple months. And then it was two, and it just, I don't know if because it was two. I know I've said this a lot, but I just, it shifted, and I wasn't able to be there, and I
Mhm.
honestly I didn't want to be there. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still have a really hard time leaving them. Like
Hmm.
um anyway, it shifted a lot for me, and I think it's been a very growing years, and I think, your kids are only young once, so
Right.
probably in a couple more months like I will be there full time.
Mhm.
um but it changes a lot of things, and I also think physically like you like I couldn't function, like my brain felt like a fog all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I've talked to a couple other people in the industry who've had kids, and I think, yeah, it was Anna Crusit, and I was like, yeah, I feel like it's taken me a couple of years just to like, kind of recalibrate. She's like, no, it takes like 4 years before you feel normal. And I was like, oh my God, I
Yeah.
don't know if I can wait that long.
Yeah.
But
Not an easy thing. Now,
yeah,
so
but I do think it makes you stronger as well. It kind of,
yeah,
it refocuses your attention. And I think in the long run, you always care about things for your customers, but you care about them even more because it's more personal.
yeah, absolutely.
Does it?
So how are you going to leave them to come to Las Vegas, or are they coming to Vegas with you to come to pizza?
Oh man, I mean, this has been the whole issue, and that's why I asked if I could
I
do
know.
a day less, because I was gonna. So my husband travels a lot. He's a musician and
Yeah.
he tours. So I have the boys a lot when he's gone, and he was gonna stay with the boys for Expo, but then he got into this huge music festival, which just so happens to be the exact same dates as Expo.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we've never left them with the grandparents, but it's gonna overlap a day. They're gonna stay here. Honestly,
Yeah.
I was gonna bring them, but whenever they're like, I can't do anything when they're around, and I just wanted to like
Yeah.
actually be able to focus and enjoy Expo. Um, it's
Yeah,
all
Yeah.
so chaotic anyway, and there's so much to do and see, and
that's right. So
but
what
I'm
are you
very
going to be
excited.
doing What are you doing at Pizza Expo? You're doing a demo. I know we talked about doing a couple different things, and then your schedule got hectic with the touring dates and all of that. And we kind of shortened and abbreviated your appearance, but you are giving a demonstration. Kind of give a little bit of a teaser. What are you gonna talk about? What are you gonna show off during that demo?
Yeah, so the idea behind my demo is how to build a better pie. And
Mm-hmm.
I think, there's a lot of intensive seminars at demo or at Expo, kind of like how to make a dough, how to do this. But
Mm-hmm.
mine is kind of, the basics on how to build your ideal pizza, like how you can tweak your dough to make it what you want. What are the differences in tomatoes and sauces
Mm-hmm.
that give you exactly what you're looking for, and kind of like the differences between a lot of different products and how to create that perfect pizza for your business.
I love it.
You kind of tease that in an article you've just written for us
Yeah.
recently on the
I did that as well,
pizza
yeah.
process. So it all kind of ties in, and I love that, building a better pizza, because we have so many people that come into Expo and they don't have a pizzeria yet, or they've just bought a pizzeria, or they've bought an existing pizzeria, so they don't know yet how to really make a good pizza or make a better pizza from what they've been working with. I've talked to a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people that buy an existing pizzeria and they're like, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm just gonna have to figure it out. So
Yeah, and I think kind of the base of this is like, small tweaks can make a big difference. Like the hydration level of your dough, or using whole milk mozz versus skim, part skim. And
yeah,
it's kind of like what works best for you, and not everyone's pizza is going to look the same, but it's like what you like.
I love
absolutely.
that. And I
Thank you.
think the key that you mentioned to me anyway, coming from a consumer perspective, would be the small tweaks. I think anytime there's a massive overhaul, sea change in a product, even if it's for the better, it can shock your customer base because they've become accustomed to a certain texture, a certain flavor profile that they obviously like if they're coming back. And if you
Yeah,
change that, even if it is an improvement in your eyes, it's different to them, and that could become problematic.
100%. Yeah. And then I'm also doing a panel of women business owners,
Mhm.
women pizzeria owners, and
Moderated by Denise Greer. Denise is going to be the moderator.
yeah,
It'll
I
be a
believe
great
Liz
discussion.
on it as well.
Absolutely.
And I'll be working, or I'm doing an hour in the Pizza Master booth, just making pizza with Lee
Yep.
as well.
Oh, that'll be so much
Awesome.
fun.
So even though
Very
it's an
excited.
abbreviated appearance, you still have a heavy slate.
Yes, I'm super excited, and hopefully next year I'll be there for the whole thing.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Well, thank you so much for taking a little bit of time and giving us an update, because we haven't heard from you in a while, like on
I
the show.
know.
So it's fun.
Thank you for
It's fun
having
to
me.
have you. And I'll close this out on one question. What do you see big as far as pizza styles go? Because the grandma and Sicilian, I feel like are getting ready to explode again. But I that's just me.
Oh. I don't know. I'm kind of leaning more towards like really thin crust bar style.
Yeah.
Pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to play around with that for a while. So when you asked what's next at the shop, that might be it.
That might be
Now's
it.
the time.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
I've
Keep
played
us
around with almost
posted.
all the styles, yeah, except for Detroit. I've never really done, but
Yeah.
that bar style is elusive and it looks amazing. So
It is. That's what Jeremy and I have grown up on, tavern
oh, really?
style. So so we
Yeah.
set the bar pretty high on what tavern is. So I love it.
Well, I'll be
That's
hungry
the
for a
native
bite.
style of our region. So
Yes.
that's what we
Cut
cut our
it-
chops.
Cut into squares. Chicago
Exactly.
thin. Cut into
Yeah.
squares.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
love it.
yeah, that's awesome. Well, we can't
Audrey,
wait to
thanks
see
for
you
taking
at
the time.
Expo.
Yeah, I'll see you guys in a month or two. I guess a month and a half.
Sounds good.
All right. See you then. Bye.
See ya.